Project I'm going to be talking about today is called Photogrammetry for Preservation. It's completed in my East class, which is Environmental and Spatial Technology, which is a class where students really get to do just about anything. By nature, it's a very project-based oriented class where students are really doing hands-on things. Um, in in the way of authenticity, students are using professional software and equipment that would be used in the field by industry professionals. The students are working to help a state park museum gain attention in the world by technology. Students would use their experience and skills to create a virtual reality museum for the state park and to distribute this as a teaching tool to other schools or visitors of the state park, which are either looking at going to the site or wanting to look at what the site has to offer within their own classroom or homes. Um, the product of this would actually be something that people could look at and pick up and examine the artifacts in their actual where they would be found, and pick them up, hold them, move around, look at it. The students would be working in three teams to create this program. The three teams would have to use a really high level of collaboration to display mastery in their focus areas. Students will also have to create a high quality presentation. Beyond their prior knowledge, students had to push their understanding and abilities beyond what they believed were their limits. They had to go attend student trainings and they had to attend other lectures and workshops to get these new skills. As this project evolved, students had to confront new obstacles as they emerged. Students attended professional trainings in photogrammetry by industry professionals. From these trainings, they recruited a team that had previously gained experience through our school's virtual internship program using Arduino microcontrollers. From this experience, the team was able to find the confidence to solve their problems and work to create a system to get consistent images for their 3D modeling. Our Unity team worked with a state computer science specialist to overcome obstacles they faced when creating the virtual environment. So they would contact and get training to, overcome the problems that they faced, and when they saw something they didn't understand, they would get them to help, because I'm not the expert in the classroom. The students become the experts, and the students are really the main source of the new skills we bring into our classroom. They learn and they teach others. By nature, this course pushes students to find their own path. I provide the guidance, support, and resources needed for student success, but ultimately the students are in charge. Students plan, delegate, and develop their projects. They use drive and grit to complete the projects. Students are beyond simulations. They are the professionals in the field. The products are real. The students are being taught how to handle actual Native American artifacts and allowed to scan them. They're actually going in and they're picking these things up, holding them, taking their photos, taking their scans, and bringing back that data and creating their models. The students are actively participating in this. There's not really a lecture type situation. The students are running the show. My team leaders even fill out their own trip request forms and schedule meetings with their clients. When students enter this class, they understand their roles and they feel the work they're doing is more important than anything else they have going on. So they really come in every day wanting to work and wanting to get better at what they're doing. The students use adult connections to drive their projects, and their work ethic has earned them the respect from professionals they work with. The photogrammetry team has worked with the CAS program at the University of Arkansas and Ben Swadley, the superintendent of the Park and Archaeological State Park. This team is also working with officials and curators of the museum at the University of Arkansas to identify and gain background information of the artifacts that they're modeling and working with. The 3D scanner team is working with our ag department to create their final build of their scanner. This is something that they started working and building out of wood in our classroom, and once they built a working prototype, they went to someone that had the capabilities and the materials to weld something more permanent together, and they're working with our ag department to make that happen. And they've also had to work with some local merchants to obtain the materials they needed for this project. So they've had to work with some people obtaining some motors and stuff like that. The Unity team has worked with the state computer science specialist to find solutions to problems they encounter. So they're reaching out to real adults in industries and getting real feedback and real help from them. And in this type of project, assessment can be kind of difficult to determine, how to assess their work. The students and I sat down to look at several rubrics, and we planned how and when we would look at grading. Um, I have a little bit of a background in construction, so I kind of work off a draw system where students kind of set up like this is where we should be at this point, and when we get to the point that we kind of agreed on that they would, be to or be to with their work, we sit down, we grade that, and we look at it. And the students, they're graded by their peers as much as they are by me, because they all rely on each other to get their work completed. So one group has to wait on another group before they can move on. So they're held accountable, to each other as well as to me, and they're also held accountable by their clients. So, they're graded by me on their oral comm and written communication as far as their presentation and contact to their clients goes. But they're also, being assessed by those clients on if they're actually providing them what they promised they would provide them. So with my expectations and the client's expectations, the students set lofty goals for themselves, and they hold themselves really accountable for that, and they also hold each other really accountable for it. So the final product of this would be creating a interactive museum where you could put your phone in like a Google Cardboard, or you can get on Oculus Rift, and you can actually go into this museum and pick up the artifacts and look at it, hold it, turn it over, look at it. And so they're really, shooting for the stars on this one. And so when we get to that point, they'll be able to look at the progress they made, and they'll be assessed every step of the way on whether or not they're going to reach that goal. And if they have to make modifications to make that goal more attainable, they're able to look at that. And they're getting some real world experience with when I realize something's not working the way it should. We have to make modifications, and when we make modifications, it's not just, oh, I want to do this. They have to get it approved by me, their team members, and also their client. So this is a project that really pushes them beyond classroom thinking.